Okay, so we're going to be getting user input in Rust. And to demonstrate this, we're going to start a guessing game. So let's do cargo new guessing game. Okay. And let's test it to see if the package is, or the project was successfully created. Cargo run. Okay. Let's go into our source file. And let me just get rid of this. CD source. Okay. So let's get rid of everything. The first line we're going to write is use std : IO. And then we're going to do function main. And we're going to start with introducing the game. So we're going to do print line macro and then guessing game. And we're going to do print line pick a number. So the user knows to enter a number. All right. Now we need a place to put the number. So we're going to do let mute guess equal string : new. And then we're going to want to read the input and put it into the variable. And to do that we do IO std in, and then that's a function, so we call that. And then whatever, once this function is called, we want to call dot read line, and in read line we pass ampersand mute, which means mutable reference. And then we pass the variable we created, which was guess. And then whatever that returns, we want to call dot expect, and then guess, or failed to get input. Okay, and then we just want to print whatever was inputted. So you wrote guess. All right, let's see if that worked. All right, so we'll do cargo run, pick a number, we'll say 8. You wrote 8. So that worked as expected. Let's go over every line. Okay, so this is a macro that prints our introduction to the game. And then this declares a variable. Let starts the declaration. Mute says that this is going to be a mutable variable, meaning it can be modified. Guess is the name of our variable. It's how we identify the variable. Equals binds this name to whatever is on the right-hand side of equals. String is a type. So this is a capital S, different from the names of our variables, which have lowercase. On types, you can call associated functions. So when you do : you're saying, I want to call a function that's associated with type string. And new is that associated function. New returns a new string, a new value of type string. So we're basically creating a variable. We're binding the identifier guess to that variable. And now we can use guess to reference that variable in our code. It's more like identify. Reference is a particular thing in programming, so probably a better word would say that guess references the variable that is returned by the associated function new of type string. So that's a pretty wordy way to explain that. So a string type is in Rust is just growable text. It can grow or shrink. Or I'm actually unsure if it can shrink. I know at least for now that it can grow. All right. So let's go back up top and we'll talk about std::io. Everything in the Rust standard library that we don't need to specify with use is called a prelude. So if we use something that we never explicitly say, we never bring into our code with use, that is the prelude part of the standard library. But because input and output are not part of that prelude, we have to use this part of the standard library, std::io. All right. So then this function stdin belongs to the standard library. And the function returns something of type std::io::stdin. And this helps us get input from our system. So that's what begs us for our input when we run our executable. And then once whatever we the input, well, actually that's not exactly correct. Readline is what takes the input. And inside of readline we pass our variable that we declared up here. So the reason we put ampersand mute is because this is a mutable reference. Ampersand is for reference. And that basically means that we are passing this value by reference. So we're passing the actual original section of code, or a pointer to the section of code. And we're allowing it to be modified. Well, it's not really, it's more abstract than a section of code. I meant to say data. It's more abstract than a section of data. It's more like because it's a instance of a type, we don't need to think about it that low level. But we're basically allowing readline to append text, whatever we write, to guess, our actual instance of string guess. So and then readline returns something called a result type. Result is a type which is an enumeration. And an enumeration contains a variant on it's a variant from a set of cases. So one of those variants is which returns an error. Well, it signifies, really. It doesn't return an error. It signifies that there was an error from that call of readline. So readline could return the result type of variant or OK. And once it returns these, because it returns these two things, two things can happen. We can either call expect failed and then some text passed to expect, or we can call OK.expect and some text in expect. And in the error case, it will print this, whatever we wrote here. And in the OK case of this enumeration, it will just return another OK. So if OK calls expect, it will return another OK. And expect belongs, expect is a function associated with the result type. It's actually associated with either variant or OK. I don't know if it's actually an associated type, but or an associated function, but it is it can be called from error or OK. All right. And then when we print and we do these brackets, we're just saying that we want to print the value of this variable inside the brackets. And that's why that works. Okay, so the reason we can call expect on the case of results is because expect is a method of the result type, not an associated function. Well, it's a method of an instance of result, which is different than an associated function related to a type. So that would be the difference there.